There's something a little bit weird going on with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon that no one seems to be talking about right now. And I'm curious if this could result in impacting the game in a very negative way. Hey guys, my name is Elijah from Rocket Sloth, and today we're going to be taking a look at Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and the oddities in what has been announced so far and the upcoming release date of the game. Let's get into it. So we got our announcement of Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which is supposed to be a retelling of Pokemon Sun and Moon. From what I can understand from the trailer, we don't have much information on it, and that kind of plays a big role in what this video is about. But from what it looks like, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is going to have a similar story to Sun and Moon, except there will be different elements, different Pokemon, and the story should be reworked a little bit. Now, what's troubling about this is the fact that it is July, almost August. The game is set to come out in November, and we haven't heard any information outside of the initial trailer that launched pre-E3. And what's even weirder about that is they didn't even show the game off at E3 at all. I had assumed that the fact that they were announcing it before E3 was because they were going to use it as a spotlight at E3, and that didn't happen. And then, oddly enough, they went ahead and announced the next Pokemon generation of games that's going to come out in like a year and a half to 2 years. But still, since that announcement, we haven't heard anything about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now, I don't think they have canceled the game, but I do have a theory of what's going on. I think there was a ton of backlash when they announced Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon over a Diamond and Pearl remake, which is what people in the Pokemon community was really hoping was going to get announced. And because of all of the backlash surrounding Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I'm hopeful that Nintendo and Game Freak and the Pokemon Company are taking time to either really make this game good, or they're reworking their marketing to possibly make this game appeal to more people. Pokemon Sun and Moon was criticized a little bit from the older players in the community for it being a little bit too easy, a little bit too much like a tutorial, and then all of a sudden ramping up the difficulty towards the end. And while Pokemon fans for the most part really enjoyed Sun and Moon, there was still a core amount of people complaining about that. But I don't know, it just seems so weird that we haven't heard anything about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and they're supposed to be coming out this fall. I think what realistically is happening is that they are working on reworking some elements of the game, or they're working on their PR team for the game, and we either will get a bunch of announcements hopefully in the next 3 weeks, that's really all the time they have to start getting hype going for this game, or they are going to delay the game and really spend some time reworking this game into an actual sequel, kind of like what we saw in Pokemon Black and White 2, instead of a retelling of the same game. Just everything about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon sounds kind of off with the timing on it. Pokemon Black and White 2, which were sequels to Black and White, came out 2 years after Pokemon Black and White. And Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are coming out only exactly 1 year after Sun and Moon. We have never seen that happen before, maybe Pokemon Yellow, but I thought Pokemon Yellow even had the 2-year gap after Red and Blue. It's odd that we're seeing this sequel secondary game coming out so soon after the first game. On top of that, oddly enough, they announced the game much later than they normally would have for a November release. They announced the original Sun and Moon in February of the year it came out, and it released in November of that year, so it had a good 9 months of promotional material, new features constantly getting announced throughout that time, where we got this announcement in June, and all of a sudden nothing's been announced since then, and the game's set to come out in November. You guys see where I'm drawing these connections? I am very worried that if this game just gets released, it's going to do poorly in sales, which is going to hurt the Pokemon Company as a whole, and the game might not be good. It might just be too much like Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that's not what the Pokemon community wants. We want something new, innovative, different. And for a release just a year later, it almost feels too soon. I would actually be happy if they delayed the game just a little bit to refine a little bit more in the series, and maybe give us a little bit of distance between the previous release and the next release. There's nothing for the 3DS coming out next year, and maybe it would do good if the last Pokemon games on the 3DS come out in March of 2018 instead of November of 2017. But this whole video is just my own opinion. I don't want a bad Pokemon game, so I feel like I need to voice my opinion, but you guys are entitled to your own opinion, so leave a comment down below. I read every single comment. So I'm down to open the discussion about what the future of Pokemon is looking like. And I'd really love to hear what you guys think. And while this video is over, be sure to subscribe to Rocket Sloth for more gaming discussion, opinions, news, and top lists here at your new #1 source for all things gaming.